Aloha, my dear ones. Hi. I'm loving spending my mornings talking to you, so thank you. And this morning I want to talk to you about the first person that I can remember who changed my life profoundly. Because, yesterday we were talking about having different kinds of relationships. So I'll just start by saying that, I was born with radiation poisoning, so I was partially paralyzed. And then my father died when I was 2, and my mother remarried, and my stepfather was a very, so well-intended, but had a very rigid belief in a punishing God. So he told my mother that the reason my birth father died was because he was a sinner. And so my mother followed my stepfather into this belief in a punishing God. So of course we all prayed together. That's what we did. And my prayer at the age of 4 went something like this. It said, "Dear God, I'm so ashamed of my sins since I am disabled. I know that you must be punishing me for all the things I've done wrong. And so I am praying." I remember this so specifically. I said, "Today I am praying that you will send me someone who teaches me how to be a good person and who loves me, even though, God, I know you don't love me yet. I need somebody to love me." That makes me cry. So my prayer was answered immediately. We called her Great Aunt Lily, and she was my grandmother's sister. And she would invite me over, spend some weekends with her. And the most amazing thing is that as soon as we would drive up in the car to turn me over to her, she would run out to the car and reach inside the window and say, "I've waited for you all week. I am so excited that you're here." Yeah, I know I'm crying, and that's a good thing because they're tears of gratitude. And so when I was with her, it was almost like my disabilities disappeared. Like there was nothing I couldn't do with her. For example, she loved to garden. And of course, she grew lilies. And so, because her name was Lily. And so she would carry me out to the garden and set me down on the ground. And she'd have to have her hand against my back so I didn't fall over and all of that good stuff. And she would take, for example, a spade to dig holes. Or she would take scissors to cut the lilies to take in the house. Let's say the scissors. And she would wrap my fingers around the scissors and hold my hand so that I could clip the lilies to take in the house. And she would say, "Oh, you did that perfectly. These lilies love to go into the house." And then there were other things, amazing things, like she'd come and she'd wake me up in the middle of the night and she'd say, "Donna, do you realize that it's been a week since we made cookies?" Where did she get this energy? But she would carry me into the kitchen, set me up on the counter. She would put the ingredients in the bowl, and then she would wrap her hand around mine so that we could stir the batter. And then when the cookies were baked, she'd say, "And God wants you to know that you always get the first cookie because you are such a loving person." She changed my life because from then on I realized that I didn't need to believe in a punishing God, that there was a loving God, and that it was no accident that I was disabled, and that, as Aunt Lily said, be teaching people how to be so alive and so loving even with your disability. I felt like that answered prayer turned my life around, and so I pray that you have someone in your life that teaches you about a loving God. Thank you so much.